Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure, really, to share with you the story of ADQ. We celebrate our 5th anniversary, and we haven't shared our story. And so I'm humbled and honored to do that with you. I wanted to thank, actually, my colleague Hamad for giving you a warm-up on how we're organized and what we're doing. ADQ is a story about transformation, about sustainable growth. And in a way, the story of ADQ is the story of Abu Dhabi, is the story of the UAE. And so what I want to do is I want to take you back for a minute or so to our founding father, the founding father Sheikh Zayed of our nation. There we go.
وبدأ ينشر ثمرات وبدأوا الناس ينظرون أملا الذوق الطيب ويرون منه الرؤية الطيبة اللي تعطيهم أمل. ومضت سنة بعد سنة، وكل ما جت سنة إلى عيشتهم أحسن، سكناهم أحسن، تعايشهم المعيشة أحسن، سمعتهم في الخارج سمعوها بدنيهم أمام تحسن.
So that's our inspiration. And believe it or not, this is just 50 years ago. It's amazing what this country has achieved. And at ADQ, we're proud to take this even forward. And I'll share with you not only the basics of ADQ, I'll share with you the 5 years, what we have done, what transformations we made happen. I'll also share with you a look into the future, what we're going to do. So our mandate is to invest in clusters, in sectors, in the portfolio, and to make sure that these clusters generate sustainable financial returns. We're all about the future of the country, the future generation of the people who live in this country. And that will need money, of course. We heard about sustainable investing, so we need trillions already, but we need trillions for more as well. And we're part of that ecosystem that generates it. We have 4 values. I didn't want to hide them from you. These are very important for us to build a culture that can actually do this, not only today, but in 10, 20, 30 years. We're collaborative. We collaborate with other sovereign wealth funds. We collaborate with other government institutions. We collaborate with other countries. We're driven. We push the boundaries. We make decisions every week and we execute them the next day. This is our culture. We're agile. Actually, no one, I think, can live and thrive in this country if you're not agile. The things change so fast and we embrace change. We love change. And last but not least, we're accountable. We feel responsible for the companies that were entrusted to us. We feel responsible for growing them. These are some of the results and numbers over the last 5 years. We have about 25 sizable companies. These are Abu Dhabi government-owned companies that we were entrusted with to grow them, to make them even better. We have organized ourselves in 7 clusters. I'll share with you a little bit more later. We have over 70,000 employees in our ecosystem. We operate not only in Abu Dhabi, we're already operating in 130 countries. I'll continue to grow international. We are close to a quarter of Abu Dhabi's non-oil GDP and close to a fifth of the UAE non-oil GDP. And we have grown the profits of our companies with more than 20% per annum. We have saved, over the last 5 years, billions and billions of government support in the companies that is now not needed anymore. And instead, we're generating billions and we're giving dividends back to the government. A little bit about the clusters. We have 4 priority clusters. Energy and utilities is the largest one. You heard from Hamad a little bit about it. Taka is the largest company in that cluster. It's, of course, an important cluster, and it will continue to grow internationally as well. Healthcare and life sciences. Healthcare was a cluster we started with. We were endowed with hospitals. We were endowed with Daman, the insurance company. Life sciences we have built. And I'll come back later to our acquisition strategy and how we think about that. Food and agriculture. Similar to life sciences, we were endowed with some companies, but most of it we have acquired. I'll talk about it later as well. And then last but not least, mobility and logistics. We own and manage the airports, Abu Dhabi airports, Abu Dhabi ports, Etihad Rail Company, Etihad Airways, and we have built on that. I'll share with that a little bit later as well. We have 3 emerging clusters. Financial services, we want to grow it. We were asked to set up the country's first digital bank, it's WEO Bank, successfully launched, SME products, and now also consumer products. Tourism and entertainment is another emerging cluster. We have successfully built on APNEC, the exhibition center, and built it into a large events and tourism conglomerate. And last but not least, sustainable manufacturing, very important to continue to export other products than only oil. And the largest company there is Emirates Steel, which we have reverse merged into Arkan and has become now a green building materials company. I'll share with you what we have done and how we have contributed to Abu Dhabi's growth from 4 different lenses. First one, I'll share with you the asset transfers, the companies that we were endowed with and we started with, and that we're now growing and growing internationally. The second lens is acquisitions. Which companies have we bought and why did we do that? The third one is portfolio consolidation or transformation. It's a very important tool, and I'll share with you what we've done and how we built regional champions. And then last but not least, our corporate development. How have we organized ourselves as a company? How have we grown ourselves as a business? And how have we made ourselves or put ourselves on the map? So the first one, you see here the companies that we were endowed with. It started in February 2019 with the first royal decree, where 13 companies were transferred to us. Do you see some of the familiar names? Half a year later, we were endowed with more companies, including Sanat, which is the industrial holding company, the stock exchange, for example. You can read it on the slide. A little bit later again, the nuclear plants came to us. It's a very important part of the energy mix and the energy ecosystem, and we were asked to manage that company, and so on and so forth. One last thing I want to say about this is it's not only that we were endowed with companies, we have also set up companies. So, for example, because we own the airport and the largest carrier here, Etihad Airways, we felt that we owe it to Abu Dhabi to build an ecosystem, an aviation ecosystem that is as rich and as vibrant as possible. And we thought low-cost airlines, they need to be part of it. So we set up a joint venture with Wizz Air to bring low-cost operations to Abu Dhabi Airport. The last thing I want to say is one of the most recent transfers is Tatweer. This is a very exciting one, actually. Tatweer is a waste management center, and they were responsible for collecting waste and basically landfill it a little bit away from the city. And the leadership, and of course everyone who lives here, wants us to be more responsible than landfills. So we have decided to do 100% diversion from landfills. So in 10, 15 years, Ahmad, how many years? 15 years? 15 years. Nothing will be landfilled. everything will be recycled. We're looking into waste to SAF, sustainable aviation fuels. It's a massive transition that is going to happen, and we're very proud that we were chosen to lead that transformation. Acquisitions. So here you see some of the acquisitions we made, and I want to specifically highlight two sectors where we have made acquisitions. One is pharmaceuticals. You see Pharmax, you see Asino, you see Bergi, and you see Amur. These are 4 pharmaceutical companies headquartered in different parts of the world. We have brought them together under one umbrella. We're going to make more acquisitions in pharmaceutical, and we'll build one of the largest pharmaceutical businesses in the world, headquartered in Abu Dhabi, eventually listed on the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange. The second cluster that is very important to us is food and agriculture. So we have, which most people know because it was quite public, acquired a large minority stake in Louis Dreyfus Company, which is a global trading company. Why was that important to us? We, as you know, cannot grow everything we consume in this country and in this emirate. So we need to go out. And we want to build relationships, and we want to be close to stakeholders who can help us with imports and growing the foods and consumption that we need. So Louis Dreyfus is key in that. We also acquired Unifruti. It's a fruits company globally. They have operations in the Far East. They have operations in South America, for example, etc., etc. We'll continue to grow these companies to enhance our food security. Then this one is a very important one. We decided that not only do we want our companies to be better and growing, we want to create scale. Scale helps. Why does scale help? It makes you more efficient. Scale helps because you can attract better talent. Scale helps because you can build a more known brand and grow further. So I want to highlight a few of them. For example, the power utility in Abu Dhabi Power, was a private company. It was 100% owned by ADQ. We merged it with TAQA, which was an international oil and gas conglomerate, to build an international energy company that is now also owning a substantial stake in Masdar and is growing internationally in a global energy giant. Secondly, I mentioned already Emirates Steel. We merged Emirates Steel into Arkan. Arkan was listed. Emirates Steel was 100% owned by ADQ to build a green building materials regional giant. We're working hard to further expand it. Pure Health. We were endowed with Saha. First, what we did is to improve transparency and to improve performance. We carved out some of the labs, we carved out the pharmacies, and we brought that under Pure Health. And later, when Seha was doing substantially better than before, we actually merged Seha also in Pure Health. Why? Because Pure Health is now the regional healthcare giant, and it will be one of the largest healthcare companies in the years to come. Maybe last but not least, aviation. We own several aviation services companies in the MRO business, Etihad Engineering, for example, Gal Abrok. We have merged that, reverse merged it in Abu Dhabi Aviation to create a regional giant in aviation services. And also there, they will go international in terms of acquisition to build a global aviation services company. Corporate development. Maybe two things that I would like to mention here. One is ADQ. We were called ADDHC when we started. Of course, it's not such a sexy name. And we have tried to find an acronym that sort of is more recognizable and we get, put on billboards and whatnot. We found ADQ. People can tell you in private what it means. It's a bit of a complicated story, but it has a meaning. The second thing I'd like to highlight here is that we associate, because of our culture, we associate ourselves with sports, high-performance sports. So we established, for example, we're not only a sponsor of the UAE Emirates cycling team, we established the women's cycle here in Abu Dhabi, which is bankrolled by ADQ, and you can see it on the shirts. ADQ is the main sponsor there. And most recently, we have decided to associate ourselves with the local NBA, the Basketball Association here. And so you'll see a lot more basketball activities here in Abu Dhabi with our name on it. While we're doing transformation, there are a couple of things that are very important to us. Synergies. Of course, we want to capture synergies. Mergers and acquisitions. Very important to fill white spaces in these, to be international global giants. Horizontal enablers. I'll come to that actually. We have several, four actually, centers of competence that we use to build capabilities in our companies. Because why? If you want to be one of the largest companies in the world, you ought to be one of the best. You cannot be a lousy performer and grow. It doesn't work. Top quartile performance is part of that. We want our companies to be top performers in their cluster. Here you see the 4 centers of competence. So we are helping actively our companies in ESG. ESG is not only buying electric vehicles as company cars. No, ESG is transforming your business system. It's fundamental. It's costly. It's a big effort. And we have a roadmap on how we're going to do that. Innovation and R&D. The world spends a couple of % of revenue for most of the companies in R&D. We're not yet at that level, and we're going to step up. I think we have been historically relying on buying technologies and waiting for others to develop it. That is not going to happen anymore. Yes, we'll still buy technologies, but we'll also develop it ourselves. So we're investing in innovation, we're investing in R&D across the board. The third one is digital. Our 25 companies, I think in our 25 companies, we had 2 C-levels that had the title Chief Digital Officer. We have hired last year 15 more. So this is a massive transformation. Of course, that's just hiring, but you have to start somewhere. We're building actively digital capability in our companies. Digital is the future. We want to be top quartile. We want to be best in class. So it must have capability. And last but not least, talent management. It starts all with people. So we want not only the best people, we want to make sure that they develop the best, that they have the best succession plans, that they have the best rating and performance management system in our companies. So what have we achieved? We have achieved a lot. We have achieved not only financially, billions and billions of improvement per year. We have also made our companies much, much better in all aspects. We have made services better. We have made the internal systems better. We have turned companies into growth again. And then the other one I'd like to mention here, decarbonization. We're actively looking at the E and ESG. How can we decarbonize our companies? We want to list most of our companies. And of course, ESG, even if it's not necessarily a requirement, we want to be prepared. We want to be ready for the new world. So what's next? We have now our 25 companies. Maybe there'll be fewer. Maybe we'll merge a few others. Maybe there will be some that we buy because we feel that we need to be in a certain field that we're not yet in. But by and large, these companies are there. By and large, these companies are doing much better than they did 5 years ago. What we want is we want them to even take it further. So we're not going to sit still. Our board, of course, now is used to the 20% improvement in profits every year. And there's no reason for them not to demand that to continue. So they ask us to continue. How do we do that? Of course, we do that by growing globally. In the end, Abu Dhabi is, let's say, a mid-sized city. Abu Dhabi Emirate and the UAE is a mid-sized country. We cannot grow only our business here. We have to grow internationally. We do that regionally. We do that in countries where we have privileged relations, but we do it everywhere. So this is very important. It's an exciting journey. And as I said, just by that imperative for our companies to grow sustainably, it means that they need to up their performance. It means that they need to up their R&D, their innovation. It means that they need to increase their capabilities in all these areas. So that's the journey ahead. It will for sure keep us very busy and will continue to push the boundaries of sustainable growth. Thank you very much.